All right, everybody, let's start things off the way that all shows should start off, because I love sports, and jon-sokoloff is our sports director. And John,
that's true.
Yeah, the sports director, allegedly. And, the cat's out the bag now. I'm 6'3". John, how tall are you?
I'm 6'6", but you know what? Yeah. Hey, it's all right.
That's why you always
people
have
at home couldn't
down.
tell. You could have been okay.
Exactly. People, you're sitting down a lot.
Yeah,
so
I am.
But let's talk about sitting down. This past weekend, you and I were sitting down over at Mississippi State, checking out a baseball game, and Mississippi State got 2 wins over the weekend over Alabama, but they lost that last game. With that loss, just kind of talk about Mississippi State and their chances to get in the regional. I know those wins really help, but what do you think about their chances now that they got those 2 wins over the weekend?
Yeah, well, when you look at kind of the hosting conversation for Mississippi State baseball, you want to be in that top 16 to host a regional. They've probably got the best venue in the nation to do so. And let's face it, the NCAA definitely takes that into account. The bigger venues, the more fans that would go, the more money you get. But when it comes to the on-field performance aspect of it, this team's 14-10 in SEC play right now. So if they were to finish with 18 SEC wins, I think they should be a lock to host. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't host at that point, because that would end them at 18-12 in conference play. They've got the series at number 3 Arkansas, and that would be a tough one in Fayetteville. You think maybe they can get 1 there, and then they're at home the last regular season weekend of the season against Mizzou, who's in last place in the SEC East, and you got to take advantage of that. So if they can either sweep them or win 2 or 3 and snag a game in Fayetteville, just go 4-2 in this last stretch, and they should be good.
And right now we're looking at a graphic that shows right where the teams are ranked right now. Now, those 16 teams get a host site. So when you look and you see Mississippi State ranked number 14, you might think, oh, that means if they stay there, they'll get a host site. But that's not always the case, considering RPI and things like that.
Yeah, so RPI kind of takes into account, obviously, your wins and losses, but also kind of the strength of your schedule, too. So that graphic that was just up there, if we can get that up there again, those teams 12 through 18, those are the ones you really want to kind of keep a close eye on when it comes to state hosting. And if you want to look at how those other teams do these last few weeks of the season, then those would be good games and series to monitor. But you look at Mississippi State 14th in RPI, they're ranked 14th, but Georgia is 15th, but in the RPI, they're ranked 5th. So, it really depends on that strength of schedule, and those are obviously all those things to really consider. They make my head hurt when you think about too many of them, because at the end of the day, it really just comes down to the Bulldogs' on-field performance these last 2 SEC series weekends. They go 4-2. I think they're hosting.
No,
I think you can lock it down.
And there has been some things to worry about a little bit with the Bulldogs. Pitching, for one, have had some injuries on the mound, but they've kind of seemed to have weathered that storm after some early season losses that they probably wish they could have back.
Yeah, definitely. And when you take a look at kind of the pitching situation at Mississippi State, I've said this for a couple of years since I've been here, and I've seen teams end up winning national titles with kind of this formula. If you have 2 starters that can really kind of take over a game, you can win in the postseason, and you can go deep in the postseason. Mississippi State has that right now in Cal Steven and Jurangelo Sanger. You just saw Sanger, the ambidextrous pitcher, just in this video right here. Those 2 guys have really emerged these last couple of weekends. They've been throwing the ball really well. Sanger, hitting the corners of the zone with his fastball. He's been awesome. Cal Steven's been unreal when it comes to his command. I mean, those 2 guys, they can take you deep into a postseason series. But, I mean, the elephant in the room really is the wild card, and that's Nate Dome. You talk about the pitching there. Mm-hmm. I mean, he has not been ruled out for the season yet, and he was their Friday night starter to get the season rolling. So, I mean, that is the big wild card for this team. If they can get him healthy in any capacity, watch out.
Yeah, great for Mississippi State if they can get him healthy. As we get ready to end our sports talk, what are we going to be talking about tonight at 10 o'clock? What are you going to have for us?
Sure. We'll talk a little Mississippi State baseball as well, and Ole Miss. A tough weekend for the Rebs in Auburn. Well, tough finish. They won the series, but tough finish, especially with that team like that with their backs to the wall. But we've also got really good high school baseball and softball tonight. East Union, Eupora, Game 2 of that series, and also New Hope, Corinth. Highlights from that one, Game 3. That game's actually just wrapping up right now. So we'll not only give you the final score, we'll have full highlights from the Trojans game against Corinth. But playoff baseball, man, it's so fun, whether it's postseason in college or high school.
Yeah, got to lean on every pitch. All right, John, thank you so much. We'll see you back here at 10.
Yeah.
All right, see you folks back here in just a minute.